But the fact that Ryan, has gone through 3 top trainers that would have done a great job, Eddie Reynoso, Joe Goosen, and Derek James.
Correct.
And he's not training with neither of them. He's training with his dad.
Did Ryan Garcia ever allow those trainers to be the boss?
That's why he's back with his dad, because he's the boss. That's why.
Yeah.
Look, Joe Goosen, I know Joe Goosen. My brother used to train with him. He's not going to just let you get away with stuff like that. Derek James shouldn't either. Eddie Reynoso doesn't need. He's made so much money with Canelo that if you want to come to me, it's going to be under my rules. And if that didn't work, then Ryan's back. So that's I give that big advantage to Barrios to even pull that off.
See, that's the thing about boxing, and Big Baby Miller pointed it out, because there's no structure. We need some kind of structure. In the NFL, the guy has to sit there for the media interview. He shows up on time. He's got to do it. And to give you an NFL analogy, think about the Broncos, right? When they had Russell Wilson over there and he had his own office and everything. And it was nothing, it was dysfunctional. Then they hired Sean Payton.
Cut it out.
As a coach, that's like going to train with Goosen or going to train with a world-class trainer, right? And you knew as soon as Sean Payton got there, ain't no one's going to have their own office. And you turn around a couple years later, and they're great. They're in the playoffs, right? That's the thing in boxing. When fighters want it comfortable, right? Sometimes when Miguel Cotto would want to train in certain places because it was more comfortable for him, I thought, I want to see the Miguel Cotto when it's uncomfortable, right? And Cotto's a great fighter, of course, and a serious person. But the fighter really has a little too much control when they reach a certain level sometimes of their own career, which is good in one way, but in another way can limit them athletically. Because boxing is not a company.
Max Kellerman breaks down the Ryan Garcia versus Mario Barrios fight, stressing that Ryan's raw talent won't be enough against Barrios without discipline, structure, and consistent training. Kellerman, known for...
But do you think it's more of his opponent, where maybe I could get away with training with my dad, compared to if I'm fighting the top dude?
It'd be a big mistake to underestimate.
Right, and it's like everyone thought he was going to win that fight, and Rolly just outboxed him. Rolly outboxed him and looked good doing it. You know what I mean? So it's like, it's crazy. I wish that Ryan, because he's so talented, I wish he would stick to a coach and really just follow the instructions.
Ryan will win this fight.
His analytical approach to boxing emphasizes that natural ability can only carry a fighter so far when facing a dedicated champion like Barrios. The fight, scheduled for May 2nd at the Times Union Center in Albany, New York, represents a crucial test for Garcia as he looks to claim a world title in a third weight class. Max and Robert Garcia praise Ryan's skills but warn that trainer instability hinders growth against Barrios' dedication. Ryan has
says, left hand, make sure that's up, you gotta protect it, blah, blah, blah. Like, that's what I would imagine he's saying. And got to take that away. It's probably, other little things like that. They drill a lot of just keeping the hands up all day long. So it's like here, 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 here. But, this freestyle type of boxing, with technique is going to overwhelm this man.
It was a great experience. He's definitely one of a kind. I took a lot from that fight, just being there with somebody with his timing, his skill, his speed. Yeah, just, gonna use that, in every way, to grow as a fighter.
Your opponent on the 21st, Garcia, hadn't actually won a fight officially since 2023. He's been through a lot of controversies, the scandal with Haney, and then the loss against Rolly Romero. What do you make of all that?
I don't make much of, all the I have somebody, who's trying to take my title, and I'm looking just to go out there and defend.
So you're looking to put on a big performance, stylistically, what you're going to come with?
Stylistically, I think this is going to be very...
At a revolving door of trainers, most recently splitting with Derek James, which has raised questions about his preparation and focus.
And, just, show why, I'm,
Meanwhile, both fighters are already trading warnings ahead of the fight, with each man confident they have what it takes to emerge victorious.
For you, that he's working with a trainer you're familiar with, then...
Oh, yeah, in my eyes, But, hey, because I know I've already said some stuff that guy's already told him. But again, like he said, boxing is one-on-one. At the end of the day, he's a free thinker, I'm a free thinker.
Ryan said Joe's not going to stop this fight. It's going to be a physical fight, a bloody fight. You're smiling when you're hearing that. Is that the kind of fight you want?
Not necessarily that it's the fight I want, but it's never a fight that I shy away from. I've gone out of my shield before. Like I said, you know, every time I step in there, you know, I give it, you know, whatever I have that day. And if that's the way like this fight goes, if it ends in a bloody battle, then, you know, it does, you know, and I've never shied away from that.
I respect that. I honestly do. I do see that in him. He definitely gives everything he got in that ring.
Barrios, a former champion known for his toughness and durability, represents a significant step up in competition for Garcia, who is moving up to 147 pounds for this opportunity. Mario Barrios vows to exploit Ryan Garcia's style, targeting every weakness he's observed, and is determined to defend his belt relentlessly.
Lock the top three. Lock the top three. Lock the top 3-2. Yeah.
Barrios, who holds the WBC interim welterweight title, has studied Garcia extensively and believes he has identified the flaws that will allow him to retain his championship. The confident champion has been vocal about his game plan, emphasizing that he plans to make Garcia uncomfortable from the opening bell and impose his physicality on the fight. Ryan Garcia says he feels no different after his trainer left and stays focused preparing for Mario Barrios.
And I'm looking just to go out there and defend.
So you look to put on a big performance, stylistically, what you're going to come with?
You know, Garcia, he's explosive, he's dangerous, and but I think on a boxing level, there's no like competing with us. I think I'm the better fighter, and I'm looking, you know, to go out there and like show that on fight night.
You just said you're the better fighter. You just put more on the line here, your title or his credibility.
Despite the recent split with Derek James, Garcia insists that his preparation hasn't been affected and that he is fully locked in on the task at hand. The 26-year-old star has been training in Los Angeles with his team, putting in the work necessary to claim what would be his first world title since moving up in weight. Ryan Garcia's training campsites and sounds showcase intense workouts, sharp combinations, focused drills, and serious preparation in Los Angeles. Footage from his camp reveals a fighter who is taking this opportunity seriously, working on his speed, timing, and power with a renewed sense of purpose.
Interested to see what Ryan takes away from those fights. What can Ryan and his style, that kind of freestyle boxing he says he does, what can he implement from either of those guys to beat Barrios?
One of the best finishers in boxing. Like, I know you didn't finish Devin Haney, but you had him drown.
I saved him. I should have knocked him. I just didn't have the conditioning.
I think it still bothers you, huh?
Yes, because I should have knocked him out in that 11th, man. I was playing around too much. Yeah. And I was like, ha ha, like, bro. But next time, that next time, buddy,
there we go again.
You won't have a next time. I'm finishing you. You will never box again if we fight again, and you know that. And I have vowed to that. If we fight again, you will never box again. I promise you that.
Gee, this is what I'm saying, bro. We need this fight. I've said it.
The hook that has become his signature weapon is being sharpened to perfection, as Garcia knows he will need every tool in his arsenal against a durable opponent like Barrios. Ryan Garcia powerfully hits the punching bag during an intense training session, demonstrating the explosive power that has made him one of boxing's most exciting attractions. The bag work shows a fighter who is not just throwing punches but is working on specific combinations and movements designed to counter Barrios' style. Every session is carefully constructed to prepare Garcia for the specific challenges Barrios presents. Mario Barrios insists he's fully defensive, determined not to let Ryan Garcia steal his belt, protecting his championship pride.
Someone's against him, when people think he'll lose, when it's a different challenge to him, even though the Rolly fight was a huge challenge. It was a world title shot, right? But you think back through Ryan's career and the fights where he performs better. Oscar Duarte fight, he thought Oscar De La Hoya and all of Golden Boy was against him. Obviously the Devin Haney fight, no one thought he'd win. The Luke Campbell fight, you know, Luke was an Olympian, so that was a big deal as well. The Gervonta Davis fight, he just lost. I mean, yes, the weight cut, whatever, but Ryan lost. But the mentality of Ryan, that's the thing that's so all over the place from time to time that you just don't know what Ryan you're going to get. I don't know what Ryan we're going to get in the Mario Barrios fight. He's saying all the right stuff. He's trained hard, right? He's acting like this is the one, but mentally isn't, right? Because he kind of said the right stuff. He was a little quieter last time with the Rolly fight, but he said the right stuff, and it's hard to know, dude. It is, because another thing you worry about, I keep looking at this picture of Ryan, and I'm seeing the biggest opportunity of his career to cement his legacy. Barrios, who has shared the ring with elite opponents like Gervonta Davis, knows exactly what it takes to compete at the highest level and believes his experience will be the deciding factor against the younger, flashier Garcia. Wade Plemons talks about the southpaw position, noting that it changes how a fighter approaches the ring. He appreciates seeing Ryan's analytical side, the version of him who studies opponents carefully before big fights.
At Ryan as an opponent, obviously I'll put respect on the speed, the power, the confidence, and all that, but it's been a weird stretch for him in the ring, to be fair. The lifeless loss to Rolly Romero, the spectacular victory over Devin Haney, but obviously the drug test, everything that went on around that mentally, and certainly at the end of the day, we wish Ryan well. How do you sort of gauge where he's at as a fighter entering this fight?
Oh. It's hard to say, really, where exactly, he's at, but, I just had to prepare as if, I have a focused Ryan in front of me, as they're saying, and yeah, just, everything else kind of just is just background noise, but to look at, Ryan's, at his best performances, when he has looked
Wade mentions that Ryan has been watching fighters like Keith Thurman and Abel Ramos to prepare for Mario Barrios, emphasizing that both of those opponents gave Barrios tough nights. He wonders how Ryan's freestyle boxing style can adapt lessons from those fights to handle Barrios, who is known as one of the best finishers in boxing. The southpaw stance, Plemons notes, gives Ryan unique angles but also requires careful positioning to avoid Barrios' counterpunching. Ryan reflects on his previous fight with Devin Haney. He admits that although he had Haney down during the match, he didn't finish him due to conditioning issues. Ryan regrets not knocking him out in the 11th round, acknowledging that he was holding back and playing around too much. He insists that next time he will be fully focused. Wade responds intensely, warning that if they fight again, Ryan will be finished and may never box again. He stresses the importance of the matchup, saying the fight could be the biggest in America. Both acknowledge the high stakes, and the conversation ends with anticipation as the fight approaches, just days away. Garcia also told Fight Hub TV, "I'm not overlooking anybody, but the legacy, this is a chance to be a world champion in a third weight class, something that not many fighters have done, so of course I want that." Mario Barrios discusses Ryan Garcia as an opponent with respect for his speed, power, and confidence.
Because Barrios is a counterpuncher and he likes to stay, again, close to mid-range to outside, mid-range to outside. So he's like, a step or two, I would say a step, right in mid-range when he's firing shots. And so sometimes he'll throw those single jabs at mid-range, and he can be countered with the right hand. But we all know that Ryan Garcia, hopefully his right hand is back, operating. If his right hand is operating, he should have a field day, taking advantage of that, mid-range jab coming from Barrios. And he does it a lot, man. He really does. A lot of stuff that he does, he has good form and technique on it, Barrios. But it's just subtle mistakes that he makes. Like just stand near the pocket after he gets done working so guys can attack him after he gets.
He acknowledges that Ryan has had an unusual recent period in the ring. Barrios notes the lifeless loss to Rolly Romero and the spectacular victory over Devin Haney, but he also highlights the distractions surrounding Ryan, such as the test controversy which could have affected him mentally. Despite these ups and downs, Barrios expresses that he ultimately wishes Ryan well. He told reporters, "I'm preparing for the best Ryan Garcia possible. I don't know exactly what version will show up, but I'll be ready for whoever steps in that ring." When asked about Ryan's current form, Barrios admits it is difficult to gauge exactly where he stands as a fighter. He explains that his preparation focuses on facing Ryan at his best, treating the training and strategy as if the strongest, most extraordinary version of Ryan will show up.
He swells. He swells quickly, man. He gets damaged really easily. You touch him, he starts to bruise up immediately, starts to swell up immediately. So I think Ryan having those heavy hands, I think that can be an issue in the fight as well. Those eyes will start swelling, that nose will start swelling up. I've seen, eyes and nose swell up on Barrios, man, and he looked like, real bad, the Elephant Man, after fight. So I think that's something that we got to take into consideration as well. I think, again, let's go back to the trainer. I think it's going to favor Barrios, the fact that he knows that his trainer knows Garcia. It's going to favor him. He's going to know, the approach, on how to get to Ryan Garcia. He's seen him in.
Barrios describes everything else, the controversies, media narratives, and distractions, as background noise that does not impact his preparation. He emphasizes that he is ready to face Ryan in the ring no matter which version appears. If Ryan is at his peak, Barrios will have to rise to the challenge. If Ryan performs below his best, that will be on him to answer. Barrios' approach is professional and disciplined, focused entirely on strategy, skill, and the fight itself. Tim Bradley analyzes Ryan Garcia's strategy against Mario Barrios, focusing on timing and precision. He explains that Ryan looks to exploit Barrios' movement by flicking the jab and timing his opponent as he drops down or changes levels. Bradley highlights a particular punch, the 45, which is a combination of a half hook and half uppercut, famously used by Oscar de la Hoya.
From the onset about being a star. Kambosos was never a star. Kambosos was never that popular. Not the way that Ryan Garcia is. So Ryan's here because of that. And yes, he does have some physical gifts and a ton of physical talent, and physical gifts that make him, must-watch TV when he's on. But we haven't seen him on in a long time. And, he hasn't gotten to that position. It's hard to compare him with George because George was the opposite. George was just a hard worker. George always came in shape, but in terms of talent, he was lacking. He got that big win and also heart and grit, and man, did he cash out on that win because he made so much money after those fights, got himself into so many opportunities that he never would have gotten if he had lost to Teofimo Lopez and became undisputed. Ryan is still yet to be world champion. These guys are almost like literally polar opposites of each other.
Adopted this shot, and Bradley considers it a dangerous weapon in the fight that Barrios must be wary of. The punch, delivered at a 45-degree angle, can catch opponents off guard and has become one of Garcia's most effective tools. Bradley also notes Barrios' vulnerabilities. Throughout his career, he has struggled with body shots, which can affect his stamina and performance. He is a strong right-hand puncher but is susceptible to flush right hands and left hooks. As a counter-puncher, Barrios prefers mid-range to outside mid-range, often stepping in to fire single jabs. These jabs, while effective, leave openings that Ryan could exploit, especially if his right hand is functioning fully. Bradley emphasizes that Ryan's timing, speed, and precision could make him highly effective in this matchup. Barrios' good form and technique are evident, but subtle mistakes in his positioning and defense could allow Ryan to dominate. Ultimately,
every trainer is going to do his best to try to correct that and try to get Ryan to do it, but at the end, it's going to be Ryan himself. You know, it's his things going on in his world, his family, his friends, himself with all those, you know, personal problems. At the end, there's nothing a trainer could do if the fighter doesn't respond, if the fighter doesn't listen, if the fighter doesn't do it. And most of the times, when fighters are that big, like Ryan is, they're the bosses. They call the shots, and the trainer, everybody around them are just the yes men, and that's the problem. That's the problem, and we can't fix that with nobody. You could be the best trainer in the world, but if you got a boss, you know, as a fighter, then and you're a yes man, there's nothing you could do. Ain't nobody gonna.
Bradley portrays this fight as a contest of timing, skill, and strategy, with Ryan's refined techniques presenting a serious threat to Barrios. Chris Algieri highlights what Ryan Garcia brings to boxing, emphasizing his popularity and star power. Unlike George Kambosos, who was hardworking but less naturally talented and never a star, Ryan draws attention because of his charisma, physical gifts, and flashy style that make him must-watch television. Algieri notes that Ryan has yet to achieve a world championship, making comparisons with Kambosos difficult since George earned his big wins through grit and perseverance, especially his victory over Teofimo Lopez. While Ryan's path in boxing is fueled by talent and fame, Algieri questions whether he will ever reach the level of a career-defining victory like Kambosos. Nevertheless, Ryan's popularity ensures he continues to earn opportunities and remains a major draw in the sport. Robert Garcia emphasizes that while trainers can guide a fighter, ultimately success depends on the fighter's own commitment. He explains that no matter how skilled a trainer is, if the fighter does not respond, listen, or put in the work, training adjustments alone will not make a difference. Garcia points out that highly successful fighters like Ryan Garcia often become the decision-makers in their own camps, surrounded by trainers and staff who may act as yes-men. The fighter effectively becomes the boss, which can create challenges in improving technique or discipline. He stresses that even the best trainer cannot overcome this dynamic if the fighter is not willing to take direction. Garcia compares this to Todd Marinovich, a quarterback from Southern California whose talent was undeniable but whose career was complicated by personal and external pressures. The point is clear. A fighter's world, including family, friends, and personal life, plays a crucial role in their performance. He concluded, everything we plan in the gym, once they step in the ring, the fighter controls what happens. That's it for today's video. So stay tuned until next time. The fight between Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios promises to be a fascinating clash of styles, with the winner potentially securing their place among boxing's elite. Garcia, who has won 4 of his last 5 fights, is aiming to capture the WBC interim welterweight title in just his second fight at 147 pounds, while Barrios, a former super lightweight champion, is looking to make his first title defense and prove that his experience will be too much for the younger, flashier Garcia. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss our upcoming boxing content. Share your predictions for this fight in the comments below, and we'll catch you in the next one.